Good afternoon, everybody. This is just Heather, also known as Hetty, on both Facebook and Twitter. On Twitter, you'll see me as Hetty, but you also know me probably best as at Alive in Me. And actually, even on Facebook, you can facebook.com/alive in me. I place that as my name just to make life simpler for everybody who lives in the internet world. Um, Otherwise, most of you probably know everything that's been going on in my life, and I've had several of you ask how things have been going. And honestly, many of you know my location now is back in Arizona, and that's where I've had all three of my brain surgeries for epilepsy. Um, and right after the third, which was done awake, we moved to Philadelphia, which the cold weather obviously didn't make it any better. But I had come back to Arizona a few times, and it didn't get better those times I returned to visit and to see the doctors. Um, I had a neurologist out there who instantly, once he saw my EEG, he wanted to cut my brain right down the middle. He wanted to split it so that that little bit of that little bit of brain on the right side that has too much control of a lot of my language, believe it or not. I'm already missing a decent amount that I used to have, but it controlled a lot. So there was a part that they just, and then some eyesight and hearing, and they couldn't take that part out. So if they were to split it in two, those two wouldn't connect. And I see the reality in it, but that would be my fourth opening and cut, not removal, um, not necessarily of the brain, but of the cord that connects the two together. So there's a little bit of a difference, even though that one causes absolutely a lot more problems if seizures continue than if you just have like a temporal lobectomy or just parts and pieces taken out. And I've had that done 3 times. I've had them go into my brain 6 times. So I really wasn't looking forward to a 7 or 8, but you know, it's still on the back burner because things have calmed down. Once I got back out here, within a week, the extreme pain that brain surgery, the third one that was done away, caused, it just subsided within a week by 75%. And that's enough to make me want to go run a marathon, almost. Um, but now it's to the point where I don't take any actual oral medications, and I'm only on that atrocious patch to slowly come off of it. It's the strongest medication you can possibly give any patient. Um, and I went from 125 at one point, and daily, I know I was at 100 for the longest period of time of MCGs, and that is that it lets go of the medication into your system. That's 10 milligrams every hour, and, oh, excuse me, micrograms. And that's, you know, and that I would have actually taken off every 2 days instead of 3. My body's just very anti-medication. It's very strong-willed against it because I've had so much my whole life. So we have been taking me down and down, and my body, of course, laughs at a 5 point whatever, no, it was 12. And so we went just from 100 to 75 instead of the 84. And then we went from 75, now I'm on 50. And I'm doing just marvelous. We just got back from Puerto Rico, which is humid, very, very humid. And the humidity in Pennsylvania when I was there just tore my body to shreds, just like the winter. So at least it was proof that my body's actually healing. Um, didn't have any seizures. And, well, I have absolutely amazing support group. I know that I don't get to see my family, and I know that my brother and I, we did have a definite butt of heads, which hurt really bad, and I know that really emphasized my seizures, and I know I wound up in the hospital mostly because of stress, and they changed my medication, but I had to change it back because I can't take Lamictal. It does so many bad interactions with me, I can't even go down the number. But the best thing, like I was saying with my support group, if you have anything like this going on in your life, whether it's the pain, whether it's the seizures, or if it's both, and more, you have to have a really good support group. And when we moved out here, my husband was able to be more like whom I married. There was a definite difference in all of us, in my attitude from being so sick, and just from his position in his new job, and he loved it, and he still loves it to death. And just the whole surrounding of Philadelphia just, I think, really kind of weighed on him. And what kind of car are you going to have? And this and that. And it's just never been how we are. We're the type who've always said since 2003, what cactus do you want to live under? As long as we have Jesus, us, our daughter, you know, we'll be happy. And things just kind of changed. And I think it was making actually my illness even worse. But having him here and able to be here, but have to still travel, but be here more when he is here, it's just made, I know just a huge impact on my health as well. I know everyone says no, that makes no difference in anybody's lives, but I can say yes, it does make a huge difference. Support is a huge factor. I had zero support when all of my tragedies started. I had zero. My ex beat me just after my first brain surgery, and we moved to Texas. 4 days later, he beat me, and I had nobody, not even by phone. My parents aren't the type to deal with that stress. They won't believe it until it just really shows up on their door. And that's how it happened. It showed up on their door. It literally did. And my dad's best friend wound up having to call saying, your daughter's just blasted, overdosing. And that's what I got into because I couldn't deal with that stressor. And I had to raise a kid, and I didn't know what I wanted. Did I want to be here? Did I want to leave? And I really thought that would be the end of all the strife in life. But God never gives you too much that you can't handle. Because when He does give you a little bump, it makes you run even harder towards Him. And that's what happened this past 2 years. I really tried just to push away and say, God, you haven't been here this time around. You've been here for so much, for everything. But this time, I think you really parked the car somewhere else. And you took the keys and locked it. And you're out of here. On vacation, for me at least. I had no amazing stories to tell anybody, but I was in excruciating pain. But He worked wonders. Even through all the crap I put him through. When I was trying to say, no, no, no God in my life, no Jesus, no nothing, I'm going to handle it for the first time, in a decade. My brother was living with us, and he had just found Jesus with all of his tragedies. And he freaked him out. And it was just before accepting Christ. And he's like, Heather, no. You are so strong through him. You have, I'm like, me? Don't lecture me. You haven't even done a thing with Jesus yet. And that's what turned me around, was him pushing me. And that's a big factor in my life today. I need my support from my husband. And every time my brother and I drift apart, I know I always get a little weaker. And I know I shouldn't, but there's those type of people in your life that you have as, believe it or not, a support group. And I never thought that Troy would be part of my support group. But my daughter's named after him, and Tori and I, we talk about him a lot. And we just began talking again. And my heart just melted, and I feel very blessed. Peacefully so. I know I was at peace with everything before he even called. I knew that God would take care of it his way. And so we were able to have a good vacation in Puerto Rico, just my family. And I got back, and all of a sudden he finally was the one to start to talk to me. So I have a lot of blessings to tell you that God does bring. And I'm not sitting here saying that tomorrow, next week, month, year, something else isn't going to happen. I already know there are still things happening right now in my life medically, but I do know that with him, all things I can get through. I can't do that with just people or a great city like I used to think. I used to think Orange County was heaven to me. And I was so just anti-following Jesus back then. I thought the freeways packed, and the smog, and the beautiful ocean, and the sun setting beyond the smog, beyond the ocean, was my heaven with my radio station. And that's not it. He created everything. And he created me, and he created who I have in my life. And maybe perhaps I have other strife in my life, but that's allowed. And that's allowed so that we can gain that strength to keep moving and keep clinging to him and trusting him and just telling people he will not let you go. And he won't. And after 33 hospitalizations and Mayo Hospital and plus others, I can sit here and say he's not going to let you go. If he's hanging on to me in my mouth, he's not going to let you guys go, because you guys, all of you, have amazed me very much. And I'm very blessed to say that all of you are friends. I've met many, and I look forward to just meeting more. And of course, Libby, I look forward to going to visit you really soon. You all are amazing blessings. I just want you to know that I'm still on my medications, but I am trying some of those oils because they have gotten rid of my headaches, which is amazing here. So I'm doing the ones for also seizures. So we'll see how that goes, and I'll report that too. But I just want you to know, anything you have going on in your life, just cling to him, cling to Jesus, and he is there. Your city's not. Nothing else is. But Christ is. And I'm here to listen. I love you guys much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. God bless.